If there's something we at Hot Strike love, it's movies about the fellas.
You gotta tune in, man. You gotta tune in.
We've long enjoyed seeing two or more guys cause a ruckus around town, fretting over their little men problems, and choosing solutions that only wreak more havoc.
You're entering a world of pain.
So when I loaded the Blues Brothers Blu-ray into my Xbox, I was expecting another classic to line the rafters with. Unfortunately, come the final performance of Jailhouse Rock, I instead found myself a bit underwhelmed. It's not that the movie was bad by any means, the songs all bop and Elwood's crazy legs could stomp all over me, but the film suffers from something that I think will plague many of the most popular movies of today later down the line, a reliance on recognition and comedy that doesn't stand the test of time. I'm Brian, and welcome to Hot Strike. Prior to my initial viewing of this 1980s classic, I had known nothing about the actual musical duo of SNL legends Dan Aykroyd and John Belushi besides the iconic Drake and Josh cover of Soul Man, which I was shocked to find out wasn't even from this movie, and the two copies of their vinyl that I own, which I'm unsure as to why one copy wasn't sufficient. It wasn't until I researched their origins that I actually saw how deep of a background they had. To say they loved this genre would be an understatement. Aykroyd frequently rented a blues bar in Manhattan to share his favorite music with cast members and guests, which eventually led to Belushi falling in love with the sound head over heels. Both had innate musical talent though. Belushi was a natural singer and Aykroyd had grown up jamming in Canada, so what started as an SNL sketch about singing restaurant bees quickly turned into two comedic musicians on a mission from God. The Blues Brothers weren't just scripted characters. They made real albums that topped charts and performed along to artists still lauded today. The Blues Brothers movie was a culmination of their rise from skits to stars, but it was also a chance for Aykroyd and Belushi to pay homage to the greats who inspired them. And man, does this movie feature some greats. Aretha Franklin, John Lee Hooker, James Brown, Ray Charles, and more all get their own hearty moments to show off what cemented them as powerhouse artists. These performances would make even the grumpiest viewer wiggle a little in their seat, especially when Jake and Elwood join in on the fun with their goofy energy. Alone, these scenes are the life of the film, but they unfortunately don't pack the same punch in 2023 as I imagine they would have over 40 years ago. These artists simply don't have the same immediate recognition anymore. And I say this as someone who's an avid music lover. I try to listen to hundreds of albums every year from all times and places, and I've listened to most of the discographies of the musicians in this film. Still, I gotta be honest, I didn't really recognize anyone in this film except for Ray Charles, and I only really knew it was him because those sunglasses are unmistakable. Otherwise, it took the performance beginning for me to go, oh hey, I know that voice, before I felt like I was really a part of the party. While this is what I imagine it would feel like to my parents if they watched No Way Home, a movie whose oxygen is shoehorned in callbacks.
Okay.
Who the hell are you?
I'm the guy who does his job. You must be the other guy.
The main difference is that you could tell the nostalgia in the Blues Brothers, if you can even call it that, comes from a place of love within Aykroyd and Belushi and not some executive foaming at the mouth. Still, it's yet another example of why movies built on pop culture personalities and references rarely stand the test of time beyond their immediate relevance. You know what else didn't stand the test of time for me? The humor. There are some simple jokes that hit hard and don't overstay their welcome.
Jesus Christ. Oh, you fat penguin!
But those are overshadowed by endless carnage. I won't lie, in the current meta of CGI destruction, it is refreshing to watch the world go boom for real. The pure scope of the practical stunts of this movie is massive, and there may not be a single car in Chicago that escaped this shoot unscathed. That said, all of these bits of destruction only further confuse the film's identity. Is it a musical homage to a fantastic generation of rhythm and blues artists? Or is it the multi-million-dollar recreation of two boys in their bedroom playing with action figures? Not saying it can't be both, just wish there was more relation between the two parts. And even though this is a tried and true dude movie, I gotta say I wish the women in it had at least a little more to do. Carrie Fisher shows up like 4 times, is a literal terrorist, and then ends up being a throwaway past love interest whose payoff is an extremely lame escape. The Aretha Franklin gets told to
Oh, shut up, woman.
and she then lets the only other cook in the kitchen leave alongside her partner? And what about Elwood's gas station mistress, huh? He pitches a flirtatious rendezvous with a random woman he meets and then just blows her off, never to be referenced again. I thought there'd at least be some kind of joke in there where Elwood makes room in this massive cop chase for a detour of lovin', but that plotline seriously just ends with her waiting longingly. But wait! More carnage! I recognize I may be analyzing this goofy comedy a little hard, but I genuinely wanted to like it more. The real-life story of Aykroyd and Belushi that got them to this movie is so damn cool that I think that's what's revered about the duo, and not this movie in a vacuum. But as Father Time keeps on chugging and the pair and the musicians that inspired them grow further from the current zeitgeist, I can't see too many people praising this picture as consistently. Don't believe me? Let's modernize it.
We break it down a dozen
In 2024, Noel Miller is released from prison. Cody Ko picks him up in a busted-up LAPD Challenger named the Meat Machine, only to reveal that GT Dave is in dire need of money for his failing kombucha business. Noel, determined to help his former friend, embarks on a mission to host a tiny meat gang fundraiser show for GT Dave. The boys then revisit all of the popular rappers of the moment, from the Hillbillies to Eminem and Nicki Minaj, accruing acts to ensure GT's kombucha lives another day. Along the way, they absolutely demolish every square inch of Los Angeles, narrowly avoid death from their past womanizing efforts, and escape from some fellow angry influencers, all before ending up back in jail, performing Walkman one last time. I mean, I'd be there opening night, but you really expect somebody in their 20s in 2066 to not only recognize everyone in this movie, but to give a shit?
If you made it this far and enjoyed the video, please consider dropping a like and subscribing. Our goal is to reach 1,000 subscribers before the end of the year. After all,
We're on a mission from God.